My name is Jay Nathan, and I'm managing partner of Customer Imperative. Change management in B2B SaaS is really, it's almost a sort of a complementary thing to driving your business forward using both technology, but you have to acknowledge that there's a people element to that change, and sort of bring people through that change as part of the technology implementation. Probably number one is the variability and the maturity of our customers. So, you may have two customers that look the same in terms of their size, what industry they're in, but their maturity is very different. And therefore, you have to treat them differently in terms of how they will implement your software products and make them valuable within their organizations. That may involve different things like training and different types of resources that you would provide to that organization, and different touch points that you might have with that organization to help them be successful with your products. So I think the first thing you have to do is define what the levels of maturity look like for the organization, okay? So, or for your customers at large. So that involves listening to your customers and trying to understand, as you begin to engage with them at large, with all of them, what the main patterns are. So there may be 2 or 3 patterns that emerge as you work with your customers. You may find that some customers have an administrator that has implemented a tool like yours before. Other companies may not have that. So step one is identifying those levels of maturity of the customer organizations. And then step two is building playbooks that help us address the needs that those levels of maturity create or have. One of the first things we do is try to get on the phone with as many customers as we can. And I would encourage CSMs to do that too. I really believe in this idea of engaging and just getting on the phone to learn, right? Getting on the phone, getting on a Zoom call, exchanging emails, just to learn about who the customers are and what they're all about and what their challenges are. Right. The first thing that comes to mind is to have a solid segmentation strategy. So we really want to try to group our customers by the size, where they fit in the marketplace, generally speaking, the opportunity that they have to grow as a customer account. So is their ability to sell them more? And then again, by the maturity factors and the value proposition that they're hoping to get out of it. Once you have segments defined for your customer base, then we should be listening at scale. Okay, and what that means is we're getting feedback from our customers. A lot of times that's done through surveys. It can be done by watching their usage patterns in the product, which we have the luxury of doing often in SaaS products. It can be by capturing anecdotal feedback from the people that are interacting with those customers on a consistent process-oriented basis, so that our CRM is always up to date with the latest conversations. And then the third thing is really creating a set of health indicators and tracking those on a consistent basis for all of our accounts. I think the most important part of the relationship as it pertains to change management is the onboarding process that a customer is going to go through. So we have a pretty simple methodology that's designed to help us orchestrate that process, and really it revolves around this idea of joint success planning, right? So that everything we do from that point can be done with the goals as our North Star, as our guiding light for the relationship. Stakeholders in the companies that we work with today, they tend to move around more often, right? So you're actually not only just learning your stakeholders at the beginning of the relationship, you want to always make sure you have those stakeholders. So the methodology that we use there is it's sort of a 1, 2, 3 methodology. You want to have at least 1 executive sponsor, you want to have 2 internal business champions, and then you want to have 3 administrator or user champions. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. And if you have that pyramid of sort of support within an organization, you can almost withstand losing somebody anywhere in that pyramid, right? If I have a strong executive sponsor and I lose one of my internal, director level champions maybe, then I can sustain that loss. But it's really important for CSMs to build that breadth and depth of contacts within an organization. So for Tech Touch, the same exact principles apply. It just has to be done on a digital basis at scale. So rather than having a one-off person or a one-to-one conversation with all your customers, you're going to be doing that in a more digital way. And so, it's not just a traditional high-touch CSM that you're going to put in charge of that Tech Touch program. It's more of somebody with maybe a marketing background or somebody who understands engagement at scale. Don't hesitate to get humans involved at the proper points, even if you have a fully automated, fully digitized strategy, because there are going to be points where you will need human interaction. As CSMs, we think, well, we haven't heard from the client, so that's probably a good thing, right? It's typically not a good thing if you don't hear from your clients or your customers. So I always say no news is not good news, right? And so if you've gone too long without making some kind of contact with your customers, that's probably the number one thing to avoid as a CSM.